Other thing you'll see is that typically, if you have really hard water, you're going to get marks in the dishwasher, scale, discoloration inside your dishwasher, and sometimes on your dishes. Okay, if you're not getting that,
ask your son's family or son if his family members are seeing any difference. Let's say hair is different.
yeah. Your hair is going to be shinier.
I'll find that.
Typically, the hair gets shinier, and when you take showers or whatever and you wash your hair, you get more soap suds than with the harder water.
Well, then let me find. See, because
So those are all things that we notice and that customers have told us about. Many people will discern a taste difference because part of the thing that does the algae is that we make a small change in the pH in the water toward neutral.
Okay, now the question is, how do the pH change? This is how do
because of the change in the molecules of the water going through the magnetic field and lowering of the surface tension. Passing water through a magnetic field lowers the surface tension.
The buffers, the hydroxyl hydronium.
This is the thing, is that if this was science that had been taught, if it was being taught in colleges, then everybody, would be
Can I offer something there? The reason it's not taught in colleges is because most professors there have to fully understand it. No one understands the complete theory of magnetics. That is why there's no institution, there is no college. No college in the world has a department of magnetics or the study of it. None. They understand what its effects are, they understand what it does. They don't understand exactly how it works. And so that happens. The Egyptians 5,000 years ago understood lodestones. They used to line them up there and it helped the water flow better. It's proven you can put it in through there and you reduce the surface tension of the water. It's provable. All the effects are provable, but they can't theoretically tell you why. And so, according to professors, it doesn't work.
But we have.
I'm an investigative inventor or whatever.
I'm a research scientist by training with 2 universities. Okay, and
so to me is
He's a mechanical
if
engineer also.
something has not been proven by the academic today's academic science doesn't mean it's not true or right.
Right.
Okay. So I'm in that thing, and I'll
I
talk
was
of
as
so many.
skeptical as you. It took me 3 years of working with these guys. I was so skeptical.
I don't take 3 years.
Well, I see this guy a couple times a month, and every time I see him, he's telling me, well, why didn't you tell me that before? Well, I told you all those other things.
Yeah, but listen, I sent you the file, the UK Cranfield University study. That was done specifically on magnets.
Cups, lids, condiments.
Read it, what they said.
I've read everything.
Have you read it?
I've read everything you said.
Because we have, listen, Michael, we have the UK Cranfield study.
That is correct.
So this is a university that studied.
I've read everything.
So?
Can I tell you another little anecdotal story, if you will? We stay with friends in Durham, North Carolina. He's a plumber, big-time plumber down there. James doubts everything, all right? Very hard water in Person County. 6 weeks ago, he put it on his house. Now, he put 1.5 times the system. We put 3 on the input, 2 on the output. All right? His wife started complaining to him 2 weeks later. He didn't tell her that he turned off the water softener, disconnected it, done all that. She was complaining, how come the water had started turning a little green and everything was over soaping? She had to cut it. She cut way back on the use of soap, was very happy. And what they were doing was releasing all of the crap that was in the line. And same thing I said, open the toilet. He goes, I won't use the words he used on the phone to me, but it was clean.
So in other words, he told her what he's done. He cut off all the softener that he had. He cut off. Good.
Yeah, and they actually, he said it was a fresher tasting water.
I think that this is, I'm talking to some house.
But that's very hard water down there. That's like 18 to 20 parts per million.
I built this is in the same town that, I built my house in Westchester County. Yes, I told you 6 years ago, 17. It's 17 and 6, 23, 24 years ago.
Yeah.
In 87 is when I built the house. It was a big property.
Yeah.
Owned well and all that. And we had to put in a softener because the water was very hard.
Yeah.
And in spite of the softener, still there was the pipes weren't we were getting clogged with it.
Yeah.
I sold it, but I can go back to the owner. I knew the house. Haven't installed the system.
You will. You will absolutely. It is a
How can I
discernment.
prove to him that it's work? It works. That's the other part.
It's got to be visual because to do a hardness test, the minerals are still in the water. All right, so you're not going to. The hardness measurement will not change. What you'll see is an increase. You'll have a better flow. All right, through your pipes because you're getting.
We are going to do a base emissions test on a vehicle, a V8 Jeep.
Not boilers.
Before we install our system on it, we want to get a base reading to show what the emission levels are before the magnetizer is installed.
Would you say that again? You typically what?
I typically idle my engine most of the day, every day. I do approximately maybe 100 miles a day. Most of it really just crawling around the back roads. I've kept a log since I bought the car of mileage readings and number of gallons I use and the number of miles between tankfuls of fuel.
Yeah, I see that.
The water doesn't smell outside. Maybe there, maybe no. It's not.
You've been getting around 11, 12,
You can see typically I run between 11.5. The best I did was 14, and that was on a long trip one day. So obviously when you're on highway, highway miles, the fuel efficiency does come up. It still can be a lot better though than what it is.
Yep. Is yours full-time four-wheel drive?
It is.
All-wheel or four-wheel?
It's all-wheel.
It's all-wheel.
Yeah, it's an all-wheel drive.
And it's CO2, nitrous oxide, TZ. That's just time to zero. That really doesn't mean anything for us. Okay.
All the reset, all are set to zero, right?
No. Oxygen is 20.95% because that's what the air is right there.
Oh, okay.
That's what you're breathing.
What
That's
did you
good, eh,
purge
because
the air, right?
Yeah.
How did you purge? What is the
I already went through that.
Oh, you did already.
Okay, you heard this thing start running 2 minutes ago? Everyone thinks that this is some great magic thing. It just reads it. There we go. See how it's starting to change right now?
The oxygen's going way down.
Should be. You're burning the oxygen. That's what
Right,
you want to do. All right, so let's stabilize here for a minute. This is gasoline, just so you know, the NOx.
Yeah.
All right. So we're looking pretty good. I mean, not pretty good. I mean, we're getting representative readings of what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Smoke.
Yeah. Okay. CO, 0.38. Oxygen, 1.57. NOx, 72. CO, 13. CO2, I should say. CO2, 13. NO, 69. Nitrous oxide. Okay. Now,
Should be one more, right?
No.
5. Okay, you got
yeah. Would you, what's the RPM on this? Does it read RPM or not?
It does.
Yeah. That, and then we need to take it up to like 2,000 RPM.
This is idle.
TZ, that's just time to zero. It's timing down. That's when it recalibrates itself. Okay? So you don't have to worry about
Idling
that.
just about 600 RPM.
Yeah, he needs up to about 2,000.
Okay.
So this is what we call idle. No?
This is idle.
This is
Now,
idle.
the oxygen C is down to 1.41 now, so if you want to, I always do plus or minus 10%. The readings.
And this is what 20,
2,000 RPM is
2,000. Okay.
Yep. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
CO
CO, 0.37. Okay? Oxygen, 0.9. NOx, yep, 222. Okay. CO2, 13.4. Okay. NO, 180. Okay, Chris.
Mike, what are you doing right now?
What I'm doing is I put the thing on too tight. I'm going to start with putting the magnetizers on the air intake.
And what's the polarity of the air intake magnet?
These are the negative pole. It's easiest to put it on to work with one hand, to put them on loose like that on the wire tie first.
Error. Magnetizer. Negative error.
Two rings on the air rather than one ring.
Would you say that again?
With a V8 kit, one of the things we try to do is put two rings on, and we alternate them, where one ring is at 12 and 6, the next ring will go on at 3 and 9. Spread out the magnetic field over a longer duration, and just try to get magnetic field to all the areas
Is this
better.
part of the pulsing technique?
Yes. Yeah, this is...
And
What is 12.6? What did you say?
And can you explain the pulse?
So even like in the residential, should I have them, I have two sets, so they're all lined up. Should I make
They're
it-
lined up is okay there. You're
You don't
still
need to-
pulsing it. Here,
You don't need to,
Here I'm doing this partially because the pipe is so large in size compared to the pieces that I'm trying to put on here. And this is gonna...
Hold on. Can you pull it, because to put it in between, like here, in between of the...
That's what I'm trying.
Here is good. This one is good. Maybe up there.
Yeah, I gotta get it started
Okay.
first a little bit. As we have to make sure that the hood will close without a problem. And we need the longer wire tie on this. It's a bigger one.
quickly, after the one time you want to cut your ties.
They don't have to be. You want to get them, as close as reasonable. And what we're trying to do is get the metal plates, as close to parallel as practical. And what happens is once you get it hooked, it will actually form, it'll compress the tube a little and form them with the magnets right into the tube. And for a V8 setting, that's the typical setup, where you have 3 and 9 o'clock, and then you have 12 and 6 o'clock.
Okay. And in this, it won't affect, the magnet won't affect anything else around the engine.
I'm sorry.
It won't affect anything else around the
Now,
engine.
if you look at our magnets, you push them together, you'll see there's a fairly significant magnetic.
All right, Mike, what are you doing now?
The next piece I put on is the cooling system. And I usually try to go to the lower radiator hose.
And why is that?
If there is any air gap in the system, the lower hose will be full of fluid all the time. If there's any air gap, it'll be found in the upper one. If you can't get to the lower hose, if it's just not convenient, you pick a place kind of like right here where it won't interfere with anything, and you can put it on the upper.
And this magnet is positive or
This is a
negative?
positive. It's 2 magnetic pieces. It will treat the cooling system to keep scale from building up in the cooling system, which will help with keeping the engine running cooler, and it will help reduce the NOx. It's part of the emissions portion of this.
Would you say that again?
Last, we're going to do the fuel lines.
Okay, now that red, Mike, does that indicate anything?
It's a positive field. This is our small AFE piece. And we put a pair of these. These are the ones that are closest to the fuel injectors of any of the parts we put in.
So you got air, you got water, and you got fuel.
Right.
So
And it's an inline, not a return line. Because it happens sometimes people confuse it.
not the exhaust.
So they put it
Some
on.
fuel systems do have a return.
Some have a pressurized return, so you have to be careful that you're getting it on the actual fuel line and not the
supply.
not the line going back to the fuel tank.
So are we actually magnetizing the engine by doing this?
No.
We're not.
A friend of mine just came out of the cancer operation.
It's a magnetic field. That's like I showed you that you're not getting any magnetic field to speak of on the backside.
The fuel line is metallic, right?
It is, but there's a junction right after it.
Okay. Which is not, it's not steel, it's not magnetic.
It is a steel line, but the junction where it ends is that far beyond it. So the magnetic field wraps around the end of the pipe. And right here, this is rubber, right down in here. So the next one is going to go right on that rubber pipe.
But how much they couldn't tell me. So then, to see how we put, I know that.
I got to ask you
I know about the
start it up again in a minute.
Okay.
Hammer,
Now we've restricted the water here a little bit. Now I hope this doesn't move, but I don't think it will.
When I was thinking then, I said, well,
Take it out for a run and then go back.
There's a whole lot less smoke. Visually, look at that.
That was white before coming out of there. Yeah. Go hit your gas just for
You're
a
not going to
second.
do it for idle?
Yeah, I will, but hit it just for a second here, and then take it back down.
Please don't talk.
I'm trying to turn away from anybody, believe me.
No,
I'm still getting a good
Oh
amount
no,
here.
that's blowing the shit out.
Yeah, I know
remember?
it is, I
That's
know.
why taking it right now. That's why I wanted to do it. Normally you drive it around the block for a half.
Well, you
an
want
hour.
them to?
Huh? Well, he's got to get going.
yeah, it's better.
You want to go around the block?
Yeah.
Because you usually got to blow some of that crap out of there.
Go around the block and come back in.
Look at that right now.
Yeah.
There's this flag.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, you know, with a little bit of backing, we go to Washington D.C. Screw the fuel savings. This is, you know, because
This is after 10, well, how many minutes? After 10 minutes after the installation.
You just went around the
10 minutes and the,
I
the
went
car
out to,
was driven around the corner.
I went to the Baptist church and back, probably. I don't know.
oh no, wait, you're talking about divine intervention here.
Maybe so.
Maybe 10 miles each way?
Wait a minute, now I'm Catholic.
I am too. But hey,
10 miles each way or less?
No, less than 10 miles. Yeah.
I'm
probably
Catholic, but
probably 3 miles.
I spent a lot of time in North Carolina with the Southern Baptists.
Yeah, right.
You ready?
Yep.
CO 0.01.
0.01.
O2. Right around 1.1.
Okay.
NOx 35. How's that compare to the prior reading? CO2 13.4.
Yep.
NO 25.
wow.
Well, You went from 0.38 down to 0.01 on CO.
which is perfect. Remember what I was saying?
Yeah. Oxygen went down slightly, not a lot.
Right,
NOx is cut more than half, 72 to 35.
right.
CO2 went up very slightly.
Right, which
And
corresponds.
NO went down to less than half.
It's exactly what it's supposed
Can
to
we
be.
do it now? Can you put RPM
2,000 RPM.
No, I won't do that.
Amazing, huh?
No, I'm gonna send it to some friends.
Now this is where, we'll do it here in a second, but this is where consolidated concrete, they failed the opacity test at 76%. We went on for 4 weeks with about 6% opacity. The state couldn't believe it. They ran the test 3 times.
Look at this.
They couldn't drive the vehicles on the roads in Massachusetts.
Do you see now? Do you remember what was 10 minutes ago?
But
You wanted to
sometimes,
have-
What was that?
unfortunately, this becomes a religious experience. You got to believe. I know, but I mean, you got to believe. Sometimes you got to go on faith.
All right, what am I reading?
CO 0.06,
0.06.
O2 0.46, NOx 40. It's an average. Well, now it's dropping way down. See, it's cleaning itself out. 5.
5?
5. CO2 13.8.
Okay.
NO somewhere's around. It's all over the place. 10 up as high. Yeah.
Go back to the idle a minute.
Idle. Chris,
I want to see what the NOx
Idle.
and the NO reading are after it's idles for a second. See if they change.
It was from 10 to 35 it went.
Yeah.
You can put 10-35.
10 to 35 is the range. See, if I hook it up on my computer, we'll trend all this. We'll have all this, and then we can actually smooth the graph.
All right. What is the NOx reading now?
Anywhere is from, it's going back down again. It's centering right around 30
Okay, so
because it was just down to 14. Now it's up to about 42, and the NO right around 40.
okay, because it was down to 25.
It's going to be, yeah. But the other part you got right now is it's cleaning the shit out of the
Yes,
engine.
it is. Yep. It's removing carbon.
So this is what day is it today? April 6th?
April Fool's Day.
April 7th. We have a test done on Jeep
1999.
1999.
1998.
1998.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
pardon me. Okay.
Let's
Any
see, there it's
questions?
see now it's settling out a little more in the mid 30s. Now it just jumped up a hair, but you see where it's centering right around. You can't see that then. Oh, you can read off of there maybe.
Show me the.
Oh, that's. Yeah, I was just writing what the vehicle was on it.
So we had before.
This was the before numbers, and these are the after numbers. Your emissions.
How many miles did you drive? Say 5 miles after you drive 5 miles?
He said about 3 miles each way to
Yeah,
the church
5 or
and back.
6, I guess, after the church and
The
that.
CO, if you want to know right now, is down to 0.
Well, it was at point
0.01
before,
right,
now
down to
it's
zero.
at 0.
And now, one of the other aspects of this, we're saving the life of catalytic converters. A catalytic converter is about a $900 cost for someone, but people don't even talk about its effect on the environment. Now that they're into a period where they have to replace them, they don't know what to do with them. It's more dangerous as a catalytic converter because you've got the heavy metals in there. It's more they can't put them in, they don't know what to do with them.
To dispose of them.
Right, and so we're putting less exhaust in there, so now we may have extended the life of a catalytic converter from 60 to 70,000 miles.